won his trademark lawsuit for the use of Rock the Bells, but it's not for the reason that you think. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Montgomery, brand attorney and owner of Off the Mark IP Solutions, where I help clients throughout the United States protect their brand, content, and ideas through trademark, copyright, and patent law. I'm also the founder of 30 Days to Launch, a digital online learning platform for entrepreneurs who want to learn how to launch their business legally. Listen, y'all. So this is sort of an update podcast because I talked about LL Cool J in the lawsuit that he filed back in December. I think on December 3rd, I did the episode for that, talked about it. But we talked about it from a cyber squatting issue because this is what happened. In December of last year, I told you that LL brought a lawsuit against the founders of the Rock the Bell Music Festival for using the trademark. Now, what we talked about very briefly is that the Rock the Bell owners, the music festival owners, actually did have a registered trademark for Rock the Bells for when they were using it for the music festival. That festival, I think, was popular around 2004 to 2013, and then it just died because of poor ticket sales. They had a trademark for that Rock the Bells as related to music festivals. However, in 2017, LL Cool J filed a petition against the company to have their trademark canceled because they weren't using it. You can't just have a trademark and not use it. We talked about this, right? Well, LL Cool J was granted his petition, so that trademark was canceled. That didn't stop Guerrilla Division, though. That's the owners of the Rock the Bell Music Festival. They're under the name Guerrilla Division. That didn't stop them from continuing to have domain names and social media handles and just selling all kinds of stuff using that Rock the Bells trademark. So after failed negotiations with Guerrilla Division to have them stop it, to give him the ownership of the domain, he ended up filing a lawsuit. He filed a lawsuit for them back in November. He sued them for trademark infringement, false designation of origin or affiliation, which simply means that when people see this Rock the Bells, they're going to think that I'm behind it and I'm supporting it, and I'm not. He also sued them for cyber piracy and unfair competition. So back in April of this year, this is 2019, in April of 2019, he got a default judgment against Guerrilla Division. And that's how I knew that the other company didn't respond, because let me just tell you, for those of you who are not familiar, civil litigation does not move that fast. You do not file a lawsuit in November and have a judgment in April if both parties are responding to the lawsuit. Okay, so a default judgment was entered against Guerrilla Division, and what a default judgment is in this case is that when the plaintiff has a judgment entered in his favor, when the court sides with him because the other side didn't respond or failed to show up. So make sure you show up to your court stuff, because you can have a judgment entered against you even if you're not there. That's just a side note. And so I'm going to read this note that I have, that according to Billboard.com, the judgment entered against Guerrilla Division was that they were ordered to permanently refrain from manufacturing, transporting, promoting, importing, advertising, publicizing, distributing, offering to sell, or selling any goods or services under the name Rock the Bell. In addition to that, the company must also turn over all the items bearing the Rock the Bell trademark to LL so he can destroy them. And they must also provide LL with account administration over rockthebells.net, the website, and all the Rock the Bells social media handles. They have to do all this by May 10th, and if they don't, then the accounts are just going to be transferred to LL without any other cooperation from this Guerrilla Division company. Look, I'm excited for this win. I'm all about winning and enforcing your trademarks and your intellectual property. But I'm doing this podcast not just as an update to the earlier episode, but also to let you know that and clear up any misunderstanding that LL Cool J won this lawsuit because of his song, his 1985 hit song, Rock the Bells. I want to clear that up right now. LL Cool J was able to successfully win this lawsuit because, first of all, he had to cancel the original trademark owner's application for abandonment. If that didn't happen, he wouldn't have rights to a trademark. So he had to first make sure that the other trademark using that name was canceled. That's the first thing he had to do. And just because he had this song doesn't give him any type of priority over the use. He had to make sure, he had to show that he was using this mark, this Rock the Bells mark, in association with goods or services. If he didn't do that, then he wouldn't have a trademark and we wouldn't be sitting here today. One of the main victories that LL Cool J got out of this lawsuit is this cyber squatting issue where the company was holding hostage a domain name and specifically social media handles. So those are very important today. And you can go back and listen to that episode to learn more about cyber squatting. I'm making this point here for all of my listeners who are writing books and they want to know how to protect their book titles. Maybe you're an artist and you want to know how to make sure that people can't pull certain words from your songs and use them for their own benefit. Or maybe you just came up with like a cute phrase or a short phrase or something, word that you want to be able to own. You can't do any of that unless you associate it with a good or a service. So if you are an author, you know, maybe think about making a series out of your book title instead of just having that one book. So for instance, I have 30 Days to Launch. I have the 30 Days to Launch book. And then I also have the 30 Days to Launch business plan workbook. So that's a series. Maybe turn your book title into a workshop or a course or something of that nature so that it can be protected. If you are a songwriter, maybe take a page out of Taylor Swift's book. For her album, 1989, she filed multiple trademark applications for different song lyrics. She had one for like this sick beat. She had one for 1989. She had a couple of them in order to make sure that she controlled how they were used, and she filed it for the products anywhere from clothing all the way to guitar picks. So that's one way to make sure that when you're creating these things and you have a title or something that you're like, oh, I want to be the one that benefits from it, that you go ahead and quickly associate it with a good or a service. 50 Cent uses this same approach to protect some of his most popular lyrics as well. He has a whole slew of trademark applications and registered trademarks for this same purpose. So even though this was like an update podcast, we still had a different twist to it because last time we talked about cyber squatting. Today we're talking about it as relates to trademarks to make sure you understand what the battle that LL Cool J really won and how he was able to get that trademark. So our takeaway, we still have takeaways. Our takeaways today, our 3 top takeaways. Our first one would be, listen, when the court sends you something, please respond. In this case, the Guerrilla Division received a default judgment, and in that judgment, they had to stop using the trademarks, and they had to hand over admin administration or account administration to LL Cool J for like the email accounts and the website. But listen, you can get default judgments for money too. Someone can sue you and say, oh, they owe me $25,000 for X, Y, and Z. And you can look at it and be like, I don't owe them any money. This is BS. I'm not going to respond. You better respond and show up, or else they're going to have a judgment against you for $25,000. Takeaway number 2, LL Cool J's trademark rights were established through use. They were established through use, not because of the song he wrote, but because he was able to show that he was using that mark in association with the goods that he was producing. That's why he was able to get a trademark. So that's number 2. Our third takeaway is that trademark registration is only the beginning. After you register your trademark, it's up to you. You have to police and enforce your rights. If not, then they will go away. They'll go away because if you're not policing them, if you're not enforcing it, and people start using them, when people see these different marks, they're not going to think of you because now everybody else is using them. What makes you so special? So you want to make sure that, yes, you do register your mark, but you also enforce your rights. Listen, lovely people, thank you for listening to another episode of The Legal Tea. Make sure if you're listening to the podcast on your favorite podcast app, make sure to leave a review and let me know what you think about The Legal Tea, okay? And if you're watching on YouTube, do me a favor, rate this video and let me know what you think. Thumbs up if you like it. Leave a comment if you want to. All right. Take care.